If you'll turn with me, hello, once again, to Philippians chapter 3, we're going to start off there in verse 2. Beware of dogs, beware of evil workers, beware of the concision. For we are the circumcision which worship God in the Spirit and rejoice in Christ Jesus, and have no confidence in the flesh, that I might, or though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more. So, after that, Paul says that he was circumcised on the 8th day of the stock of the tribe of Benjamin, and he was a Hebrew of Hebrews. And concerning the law, he was a Pharisee. He persecuted the Church of Christ. He was absolutely one of the most righteous men that you might ever meet according to the law. And then he says this in verse 7. He says, "For what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Christ." I want to associate this with how our culture in the United States is functioning, because we function from a single perspective, and that is that humans decide for themselves what is good and what is not, and they decide for themselves purpose and meaning and sovereignty. The problem with this view is that we did not create ourselves. How do we know that? Everything that has purpose usually indicates a designer. Most of the time, when we walk across a riverbed, we don't really think about that somebody made it necessarily, but if we look at each individual component, it clearly shows that something happened that was not by chance, but rather by purposeful, meaningful design. This goes into my conversation about education, because I work for schools all the time. I work there relatively often, every day. And I'm going to be honest with you, I am terribly upset with the education system. Not because I don't participate in it, but because I do. And I see how kids are taught. We get taught two messages in American education, in North American education. That is that you matter and that you have purpose, but at the same time you are purposeless and a blob. That was completely by accident and that has no intrinsic value. The problem is that we do not have a concise and clear message. We say one thing, we mean another. We have a confusing message that teaches people to be based on themselves, but also to look to God for things like morality and virtue and meaning and design. So when I look at this text, I see that Paul took no boast in himself. And I think that we need to realize that Christ would have taught us a very similar message, which he did. He went on the cross for us. He gave himself for others, not for his own glory, but for God's and for our own. He is God in the flesh, but it says that the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. And what are we teaching kids now? Do they get taught to serve people? Do they get taught to have purpose and meaning? Because really, if you want people to understand who they are and what they are meant for, you probably should teach them, just like you would anything else, where the owner's manual and where the instructions of how something is to operate are. But we don't. And we claim that that is unbiased, but it's not. You think that you are unbiased if you don't associate with a particular religion, but you still have values. And I read somewhere one time that science is never valueless. There is never a science that is not without values attached to it, whether it be very discreet or very overt. We need to stop saying that there is a separation of church and state, because the church has become science. The church has become this idea of human worship and sovereignty, and we think that we know everything. You know why society is so messed up today? Because we have replaced God, and it needs to change. Now, this video is not going to change it, but you can. So what I challenge the person that is viewing this video today is to continue to read God's word if they are a Christian, and if they are not, become one. And once they figure that out, step into the school system if you feel so called to. Not necessarily in an occupational sense, but from the Lord. And I plead with you, continue to pray for our schools and for our children. Thank you for watching.